engineer from Department of Marine Engineering. Give my presentation on Purifier, which is mostly used on board ship. So like now on board ship, we normally use the fuel oil on board ship. It is not very pure, and moreover, it has been purified. Prior, it's supplied to your engines. So these are the very important aspect when purification takes place on the fuel oil, because direct application of your fuel oil will damage the internal parts of your engine. So if we are using the fuel oil into the engine, it is important that the fuel oil has to be treated. So on board ship, we have a system called the centrifugal purifier, by which the heavy particles and sludge and water particles are being removed from the purification. By purification, we are removing all the heavy particles. So separation can be gravity separation and also the centrifugal separation. And we are utilizing the centrifugal force by separating the water, centrifugal water and heavy particles and carbon particles from the system. So when you talk about your system, we have a structure of a purifier, and it's got bowl arrangement, and it's got a vertical shaft arrangement, and also it has got a horizontal shaft arrangement. And counteract the vibration takes place on the shafts, there are supporting strings are provided, and even for the friction clutch arrangement is there. In order to the heavy machinery start at the direct coupling, the motor will trip, overload, may cause severe damage to the worm wheel. So in order to prevent that, the sort of friction clutch arrangement is provided on board ship. So the friction block is fitted with the Faraday lining, and by which the bowl can be started at a higher rate, because it's a high torque inertia. High inertia is required to start the purifier, and by providing the friction slipping arrangement, we are trying to achieve a maximum RPM in the system. So when you talk about the purification, the dirty oil is entered into the pure bowl, and then by the way of centrifugal force, the heavy particles are removed, and then the light particles which is the pure fuel oil, can be passed through a system. And to achieve that, we have to maintain an interface between the light particles and heavy particles, and the interface is given by a sealing water, and the interface is decided by the nomogram which is provided, and by selecting the correct size of gravity disc, we can able to achieve the interface between the bowl, so that the particles, light particles and heavy particles, can be easily separated, and thus the purified oil comes out of the system, and the clean oil comes out of the system by a carrying disc, and it is acting as a centripetal force. Whereas in the bowl, the system is operated as the centrifugal force, and here through the centripetal force, the pure clean oil is pumped out of the system. So here, when you're operating the system, the floating bowl is provided in the purifier, and at time to time, the accumulated sludge inside the purifier can be pumped out. So by operating the solenoid valves, so operating water and sealing water. Sealing water is providing to achieve the separation of the light particle, heavy particle, and your sealing water, operating water is provided to operate the bowl in order to evacuate or eliminate the sludge accumulated in the system. So this is the main idea of vehicles. So when you talk about your operation of the system, the particles or oil particles are by the force of fluid is forced into the system, and there is a centrifugal force is acting on every particles. Because of the centrifugal force, the velocity of the particles are reduced, and then is tried to stick onto the lower part of the disc stake, and slowly, gradually, it started moving to the periphery of the bowl, and then by desludging of the system, it can be removed from the bowl, and the pure oil passes through the clean service tank, so that the heavy particles are simultaneously, heavy particles and water are simultaneously removed from the system. So when the greatest velocity is at midpoint of the plates, and the principle of laminar flow is utilized in the purification of oil in the centrifuge. The particle enter the plates and tend to push the upwards by the flow. All the time, the forces tend to retard the horizontal component of the movement, causing the particles to approach the underside of the disk. As it approaches the fluid, the flow velocity reduces, the centrifugal force eventually overcomes the force and acting on the particles, and fluid movement is particles and towards the outer rim of the six. So this is how the separation is taking place. But some of the factors also very much important: viscosity of oil, the centrifuge, and this spacing, diameter and inclination of the vertical also is required, and speed and rotation of the purifier also very much important, and as well as the throughput of the purifier. So these are the factors are very much important to achieve a proper purification of the system. Thank you.